Alright, so today we're doing part 4 of rebuilding the old dual-engine go-kart and turning it into a long-travel, fully independent suspension, dual-engine go-kart. So in this video what we're going to be doing is focusing on trying to get this thing running. Last video was all about building the frame. The frame is finally done. Now we can disassemble everything on this frame and finish welding everything together. And once we got that done, then we can reassemble it and then start focusing on getting the steering installed, getting the brakes installed, gas pedal, throttle, all that kind of stuff. And then hopefully get it running in this video. Alright, so I'm now at the point where I can figure out how to do the steering. Now, Go Power Sports gave me this. This is their rack and pinion and tie rod steering setup. But unfortunately, this isn't going to work how this is because the tie rods don't travel as much as the suspension. The suspension travels a lot more than this. So if I did use this, if the suspension ever topped out or bottomed out, this would either bend or break just because it just doesn't travel as much. Because this is long travel suspension, it just overcomplicates everything and just makes everything harder. So unfortunately, I can't use the tie rods the way they are just because these just don't move as much. I'm still going to use the middle part, but I need to figure out a different way to, to have the tie rods have the amount of travel that I need. So I honestly have no idea how in the world I'm going to do this. I'm kind of just, I have a couple ideas. I'm going to try them. If they don't work, I'll figure out something else. Alright, so we just finished installing the steering, and I haven't welded everything completely together just because I'm not entirely sure if it has any bump steer. This is where we find out if there's any bump steer and if we need to get rid of any or whatever. So right now it's able to turn. Unfortunately, it's not able to turn that much. That's completely turned to the right. That's completely turned to the left. All I really need to do is grind away more material off of these right here and it will be able to turn more. I just haven't done that yet. So this is where we find out if there's any bump steer in the whole steering. So basically, when the steering wheel is still and kept in a certain position, if the suspension moves up and down, will this move at all? You do not want this to move at all. You want this to remain stationary with where it's pointed at. So steering wheel is still. Let's move the suspension all the way up, all the way down, and I see maybe like a tiny bit of movement with this, but nothing too concerning. That's all the way up, that's all the way down, and I barely see it moving, which is actually perfect. Really surprising with with a first try of this thing. So all the way steered to the left, and it has almost no movement. All the way steered to the right, and almost no movement, which is perfect. Okay, so now that we know that this has no bump steer, now it's ready to finish, welding everything together to make this permanent. So yeah, I think this is perfect. It doesn't have any bump steer at all. Okay, it has a little bit, but nothing way too concerning. I mean, concerning bump steer is would be this much movement with it up and down, which is it moves like maybe that much, which is barely anything. So it works perfectly. Now it's ready to be welded, all the way out, so therefore it's permanent. And then it's ready to move on to the brakes. Alright, so I just finished hooking up all the brakes and bleeding the brakes. So the brakes finally work. Now, I want to build a custom gas tank for this, but I don't have time right now to build a custom gas tank. I'll be doing that later on. So, I want to get these things running. So, I'm just going to be taking this gas tank from Go Power Sports and duct taping it to the side just because I want to get this thing running, and you know, I don't want to wait to build a custom gas tank. I will be building one from scratch for this thing, and I want to be able to take my time with that. So let's just duct tape this to the frame and then figure out some kind of fuel distribution to allow it to work. Just like that. Alright, so now this is on, this ain't going anywhere. Now, all we need to do is figure out the fuel lines, hook them up, and then make sure there's oil in these engines so we don't blow these things up, and then it's ready to test for the first time. Crap. Broke it already. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was a little too much strain on the side. Ah, crap. Yeah, so, I broke it. I already broke it, so this is my bad. So, you're not supposed to take the output sprocket on torque converters and put them way over here. The output sprockets normally go right here in between the driven pulley and the mounting plate. It's normally in between those, so therefore it makes it to where it doesn't have any unwanted stresses on the torque converter plate. When I took that off and put it way out here, that just made it to where when I accelerated and when I floored this thing, it made it to where I had a twisting action and just broke this thing in half, snapped the mounting plate right in half. So you're not really supposed to put the output sprocket way out here. The reason I did that was so therefore I could have the sprocket on the axle right here. If I didn't do that, I would have to put it right here. So yeah, my bad. Now we know. Now we know that you're not really supposed to do this, or if you are supposed to do this, you're supposed to heavily beef this up, so therefore it can't twist. So what I'm going to do is I have more torque converters. I'm going to put a new one on, and I'm going to beef this one up really well, so therefore I have so therefore it can't twist. Basically, I'm just gonna, add some brackets that I can bolt to the back of this, so therefore it's gonna keep it from twisting and stuff like that. And hopefully that's gonna fix this problem. But now we know. Now you live, you learn. Now we know that you're not supposed to do this, otherwise it's just gonna break torque converters right in half. But at least I got it on camera, So I know you guys are really, really wanting to see what this thing can do. Does the suspension work? Does it have enough power? Does this work? Does that work? All that stuff. So because I film my videos in a very cinematic way where I ride the go-kart a little bit, move the camera, ride it a little bit more, move the camera again, ride it a little bit more, move the camera again, I do have some more footage of me driving it around, getting it into position. So I'll play that footage right now. Chain fell off. So there's a little bit more footage just to show you, because I know you guys are really wanting to see how well this thing drives, what it drives like, and how much does it tilt when you're going in a turn. And I gotta say, it turns a lot. It tilts a lot into turns, which is kind of really cool. I really like it, but it's not very practical. But obviously next video of this project is gonna be, fixing some minor bugs that this thing has, and then doing a full test drive, and just to show you guys what this thing can actually do. So that's obviously for next video, but I think this is a good place to end this video. Now, I have to thank Go Power Sports for sending me all these parts that I use for this project, almost everything you see here. I'll be leaving links to all this stuff in the description below. Go check that out. But it's a good place to end this video. I gotta end it here. So follow me on Instagram. I'll have a link in the description below to that. And yeah, I gotta end the video here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, and have a nice day.